July 23rd, 1992, Sydney, Australia. Peter Khoury wakes up. Two women are sitting on his bed. They don't look entirely human. They have an encounter. It ends. He finds a strand of hair on his privates. He keeps it. 6 years later, a DNA test reveals something alien. This is the Peter Khoury case. Will you believe? Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of Mostly True Alien Stories.
They're coming.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about dangers of unknown objects.
Scientists in Mexico pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories. I'm Neal Girandola, and this is the podcast where we take a true report of an alien encounter from history. We share what we know, then decide whether it's a mostly true alien story or not. And today's report is unlike anything we've covered before. Most abduction cases come down to the testimony of one person with no physical trace, and it's just a story. But this one has a hair, a single strand of blonde hair tested in a forensic DNA lab by a research group with actual scientific credentials. And what the lab found has never been satisfactorily explained. This is the Peter Khoury case, the only alien abduction in history with DNA evidence. Now they got that evidence is the story we're going to be telling today, which I can't wait to get into. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on whatever channel you're listening through and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mostly True Alien Stories. And of course, joining me today, two of my favorite people in all the universe who absolutely disagree about everything we're going to be discussing. It's Andrew Triana and Lemon G. Say hello. Hi, guys.
Hi, Neal.
Hey.
Let's get into the Peter Khoury incident. Peter Khoury was born in Lebanon and emigrated to Australia as a young man. By 1992, he was living in Sydney, working in construction. He was 26 years old, married, living an ordinary life in 1992. He had one prior encounter, I should note, on record. A 1988 incident in which he reported being paralyzed in bed. Hooded figures entered his room, and a needle was inserted into the side of his head, and he reported it at the time, but nobody paid much attention to it. Then came July 23rd, 1992, when this new incident happened. It was late morning. Khoury had been ill and had gone back to bed after his wife left for work. And he woke up to find two women sitting on his bed. The first was Asian in appearance.
That happens to me all the time.
I know.
Strange hotel room, waking up, two women sitting on the bed.
So weird. Yes.
So weird that this guy's just stealing my story.
They're stealing the story you used to tell your wife.
Right.
Yeah. Can't explain
They
it.
were aliens, I swear.
They were aliens, so they came in my room, and it was horrible. I had to have sex with them. Terrible.
Several times. Several times.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Over 3
Sorry.
days.
Over 3 days. Yeah.
All right. The first was Asian in appearance, he says. It was dark, oversized eyes, very fine features, and an unusual pale appearance. And she appeared to be around his same age as Peter Khoury. And the second was a tall blonde, Scandinavian looking, but with proportions that were slightly off. The cheekbones, as he explains it, were too prominent, eyes slightly too large, and it was the kind of almost right appearance that registers as wrong before you can explain why. Neither woman spoke. The encounter was brief and physical, and Khoury did not experience paralysis the way he had in 1988.
No,
He was
didn't.
fully
I'm sure he
conscious for
didn't.
this one.
I'm sure he didn't. He had their
So-
full attention. She had her full
Yeah.
attention, and he was not paralyzed.
When it was over, he paid the women, and they left. Oh, no, I mean, when it was over,
He paid them
When
in,
it was-
in galactic currency.
yes. A galactic currency. Both of the women, they were gone or left. He got up after this encounter. I'm assuming it's sexual. He went to the bathroom, and that's when he discovered wrapped around his tiny parts was a a single strand of fine blonde hair.
Wow.
He removed it carefully and he put it in a small plastic bag and he didn't throw it away. And he kept it for 6 years
Wow.
in his little private memento box that he keeps things from great memories in.
That was such a great night.
I'm going to keep it in
this
my
hair.
special
I'm gonna
box.
keep this
My
hair in
alien
my special box
ladies.
with the other
Yeah.
parts of the people that I've murdered.
Oh,
Oh, all the hookers I've killed. I always keep a strand of hair in a box for
He
6
has a whole
years.
outfit. He's like
That's
cousin it now. He's got
Yeah.
so much hair. It's like,
oh, yeah, he's a wig.
In the late 90s, Khoury got in contact with Bill Chalker. This guy is an Australian UFO researcher with a background in chemistry, and he had spent years building a case for rigorous scientific analysis of physical UFO evidence. So this guy had a role in the whole UFO experiences or alien experiences for not just Khoury, but for many. He's formed this group called Anomaly Physical Evidence Group, known as APEG, APEG and Alien. And specifically,
I banged
Yeah.
2 of them.
this group was specifically to apply proper forensic methodology to reported physical evidence from UFO encounters, as it's explained. And they use actual lab science, I should say. It's not just fringe analysis. So in 1998, let's go 6 years after Khoury has this encounter with these 2 female aliens, Chalker submits the hair sample that Khoury found on his penis for DNA analysis.
Sorry.
And the testing was done using the PCRs, which amplifies trace DNA for analysis. It's the same methodology used in forensic criminal investigations, basically. And the results were published in the International UFO Reporter in 1999. And here's what they found. They found that the hair was human. It was human, not animal. Human mitochondrial DNA. The mitochondrial DNA sequence belonged to a rare Chinese lineage, specifically a subgroup found in less than 1 to 2% of Chinese women. And that lineage has never been recorded in a blonde person. Remember, he found the blonde strand of hair on it.
Oh.
The lead sequence portion of the DNA was unlike anything in the database at the time. So to be precise about what this means, the hair looked like it came from a blonde woman. The DNA said it came from a lineage that is essentially only found in Chinese women. And even then, only in a tiny fraction of them. And the combination did not exist in any known human population. So Chalker described it as evidence of an unusual human lineage, one that didn't fit any documented ethnic profile. It's interesting, but I don't know. There's nothing here yet that's convincing me. I'm going to say it up front. It
What?
just sounds suspect. All right. So
Did-
Khoury didn't cash in. He didn't go on a media tour. Instead, he founded the UFO Experience Support Association. He started that in 1993, a year after the incident, actually, even before the DNA testing, which is interesting.
In that support group, did they sit around and be like, "Hi, I'm Peter. I'm into Asian looking aliens with blonde hair.
Definitely.
I had an incident last night. I was sober from it, but I'm back on the wagon
Well,
again."
you kid, but we it could have affected him so much that maybe he did feel like he needed to create a
Mm.
support group. Maybe he did think there
Yeah.
were other people that experienced this. And it became a thing for him that he's like, I think I need to start a support group.
So there is no other description of these women other than there were certain enlarged body parts. Like, he's not saying they had 3 fingers or the
Well,
eyes were like completely
I think
black.
Andrew's going to probably get into that
Yeah,
and
we do? Okay.
a little bit more. So
Okay.
let me get through this report
Okay.
section and then we'll that's
Got
a good question. We'll find out. All right. So anyway, he's still running that group. He's still around. Guy's still getting at it. He didn't really. I don't know. Andrew could probably correct this, but it doesn't look like he tried to make a lot of money.
No, the only thing was the book that was written.
Yeah. So and he's been consistent in his account for over 30 years. So he hasn't really changed the story. But here's an added little bonus to this. This helps our listeners and
Did you say
myself.
bonus? Bonus.
I
Okay.
have, yeah, you love when I have a bonus. Whitley Strieber He's the author of Communion. He had that 1987 book that described his own alien abduction, and that sold over 2 million copies. They made a movie out of it. He suppressed a specific detail from his own account. His publisher told him to suppress it, so he never brought it out. But the detail also involved a hair. So Stryber apparently had a hair. When the Khoury case surfaced with a hair sample and DNA results, Stryber went public with this suppressed detail. So you got two witnesses in different countries, different decades, and both with sort of the same specimen of sorts. I don't know what the full details on that hair, but I'm going to hand this over to you guys now. That is my report. This is a hair in a lab with a PCR result. Is this a smoking gun? Is it enough to convince us? Or is this just an excuse for Khoury to explain away the reason he had two women in his bedroom when his wife left for work? We're going to find out. And the three of us will weigh in on whether we think this is a mostly true alien story or not. All right, Andrew, what do you have?
Here's what I find fascinating with this story is there's different accounts. You have the account to where the hair was tied around Peter Khoury's penis. I have an account where the actual strand of blonde hair was in his mouth. So this is just another story. According to Khoury, he was lying in bed when he became...
Either of those scenarios work for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I mean, it worked.
Two very different regions.
Yeah,
Without the
mouth.
hairs.
I just, it's one of those things though, where like if there's a hair in my mouth, the second it's in my mouth, I'm pulling that sucker out of there. I got to get
putting
that
it on
hair
your
out of my
penis.
mouth. I'm putting it on my penis.
So I'm going to put that there so I know exactly
gonna
where
keep it here.
Don't lose it.
Yeah. I keep change down there too.
I might get this DNA tested. I don't know.
Okay, so according to Khoury, we're going to go back to the story. He was lying in bed when suddenly he became paralyzed. Okay.
You're talking about his original.
The original,
first one in 88.
No, I'm talking about 92. I'm actually talking about 92. He said he wasn't paralyzed. Right. You didn't find that. Well, I do the deep research here. I found it says that he suddenly became paralyzed.
Are you sure that's not the convolution of his original one? Because they said he was paralyzed. He gets a needle in the head.
Well, let me
and
finish.
people came in.
Let me finish. He said two humanoid female entities appeared in the room. One described as Nordic type, the tall blonde.
Yeah.
The other appeared Asian with dark hair.
You're confirming what I said.
He claimed the blonde climbed on top of him and tried to do a sexual encounter attempt. He bit her nipple in a panic and afterward found a strand of blonde hair in his mouth.
Wait a minute. She climbed on to have sex with him.
Right.
And he
She had
bites her
long hair.
nipple. He bites. That's his first reaction is, I'm going to bite her nipple to get me off.
Well, he can't
Or
move.
get
To get her
me.
off. Right.
Can't move
Because he's
anything
like, hey,
else.
wait a second, strange alien lady. You're not my wife. Why are you?
She's at work and she'll be home in an hour and a half. Well, you have time. You have 90 minutes.
Why are you taking so long? You know what? I'm done. Just get off of me.
So, but this was his explanation was he bit her nipple to get her off of him.
He panicked. No, he panicked.
Yeah, but
He
I
was
don't
like,
panic.
"What
If
is
I
this
panic,
woman?"
I'm not biting nipples.
No.
I
It's his
panic, I'm going
only
to grab you.
defense. He
I'm
can't
gonna
move.
grab you
He's
and throw you
paralyzed.
off me.
He's paralyzed. The only thing he
Yeah.
could move was his mouth.
Oh, he's saying he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
paralyzed during this?
That's the encounter one of the encounters I found. I found the encounter where it says it was wrapped around his penis. I found so many
I
different things.
I want to clarify this because this is important for our decision. Because if we're getting different stories on this, it doesn't make sense because he didn't say anything about being paralyzed in this report that I found.
Right.
It wasn't his original experience, which had just people walk into his room and he was stuck on his bed. That was in 88.
That was in 88,
That was not,
right.
That wasn't a sexual experience. This one is, and you're saying that he was paralyzed by this. So he's not able to move his hands, and he bites her nip, but he can move his mouth and bite her nipple.
Yeah.
So maybe she was leaning way over on him.
Yeah, maybe.
I would like to know if you can move your mouth when you're paralyzed. I would
Well,
like to
that's
know
the other
that. Well, if
question.
you're
Yes,
like,
I
like
know.
how.
But you know what? It could have been
paralyzed
like
is this?
paralyzed with fear, not actually paralyzed. Maybe just paralyzed shock. Maybe
Yeah,
he
but
wasn't
that-
like paralyzed. He was just like,
I did look it up. It did
Yeah.
say that in his second encounter, yes, he felt completely immobilized.
Okay. So she had to been, I'm saying, I'm going to do visuals here. So this is him. This is
mouth.
Peter. This is Peter
Nipple.
sitting up. This is Peter sitting up. I want you to see. This is
Okay.
Peter laying down. This
Okay.
is the alien on top. This would be the alien down low enough to get her nipple bit.
Well,
by
she'd have
Peter.
to move up too.
She just slide
Right.
up. So maybe she had long lower torso that could stay where she needed to
Or
be
it
to
could
get the
move.
encounter.
She could shapeshift.
She could shapeshift to stretch her body. It would stretch. It was like,
Or
just
she
stretch down.
had huge breasts.
maybe they're up really up high too. Like maybe they're under her neck.
Maybe her nipples were here.
Yeah, they could have been right here.
Or she had a nipple in the center of her forehead.
And that's
Or
what he
maybe
did.
she was like getting up. She was like getting that angle ready to
Yeah, the
mount.
mounting. A
And
mounting.
he bit the
and,
nipple.
and it,
But so I think all of our theories. Yeah, I think all of our theories are substantial, but
Yes.
it doesn't explain it
Yeah.
in Khoury's description. That's not how he explains it.
No, he doesn't explain anything. All he says is that he bit her nipple. He panicked and bit her nipple.
Did that hurt the alien? Did she jump
He didn't
off?
say that they disappeared after that. So she was like, I'm out of here.
he said they
So-
wait, they disappeared after that?
Afterwards, they disappeared.
After the bite.
There was no penetration.
Not that he describes. No.
I would have made up a better story if I had said I had two hot aliens on my bed and one was on me. I'm telling my friends, especially my guy friends, I'd be telling them all, yeah. And then, these aliens. Damn, that one the one blonde alien, damn, she had nipples right here under her neck.
But I told her to get off.
I
told her to get off.
I told her to get out of
Yeah.
here.
Hey, little dark-haired one, why don't you come
Yeah.
over here?
I run this show in my bed.
This is my house. My house.
I don't know why he talks like that. Yeah, I would have made up something better than. All right, so he's saying it's over in seconds after he bit her nipple.
Yeah.
She's out. But that would
Yeah,
piss
then he's got a
any alien off.
hair. Like he's like,
Yeah, but that would piss any
Uh.
alien, hot alien
Yeah.
off if you bite her nipple. She'd be like, yeah, you know what? This was going to be great, dude. You were going to love this.
Kurt would
Yeah,
never
probably
do that.
like a scratch or something.
Kirk would never.
She'd be like,
Kirk
slap.
would never bite nipples.
Yeah, Captain
about it.
Kirk would have seen that all the way through.
Yeah, he would have been like,
Okay, I can't move. I can't move. There are two hot aliens on me. They're about to do things to me. I am not going to fight this. I'm going to just, okay.
I'm gonna
Who's
take it.
next?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
take it like a champ.
Because this is for research.
He's
Right.
like, he told his wife, he said, I bit that nipple. And she
Yeah.
ran. Don't you
And
worry.
she left.
Don't
Baby,
you
I never
worry,
cheated
honey.
on you. I wouldn't cheat on you, baby.
Mhm.
Never.
Mm.
Mhm. This is
Yeah.
90. You think they had security cameras in the house then? 93?
No.
92.
Probably
No.
not.
They had a ring
Okay.
camera. He
They
had
had-
one of those weird cameras like by his bed, but it was
No, he was
turned
holding
off.
an 8-track video camera. Down. All right.
Maybe his
so-
wife filmed it, but she wasn't there
Mm.
because
She was
he
at
was
work.
sick.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny. She's probably like, oh, this happens only when I'm at work, Peter.
Again? Seriously?
Interesting.
Tell me about last week's two that appeared.
Smells like alien in here. All right. So,
Someone's been having some aliens.
Peter, we talked
Peter,
about
was that
this.
you? Then she looks at the dog. Hmm? Was it you?
All right. So, all right. So he bites her nipple. They
She
get, and then they're
disappears,
gone right after
And
that.
then they're gone. Right. So then he pulls the hair out of his mouth and he immediately puts it into a plastic bag and then keeps it as a treasure for 6 years.
Yeah. What compelled him to do that, you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was 92.
This is a dawn. Let's just
Was
say it
Law
is
and
true.
Order on then? Maybe?
Maybe.
Some sort of cop show he watched. I should
Definitely
keep
Law and
this?
Order's been on for 300 years. That's like, and in every city. So what compels someone to have, so let's just say this is true in all seriousness. Let's just say this happens. That experience may have been daunting to him. Let's just say it was startling. I think being immobilized on your bed in a situation like that is probably frightening. And then he's getting scared. Maybe she wasn't as attractive as we're making her out to be. Maybe it was a scary sort of grotesque thing. So it could have been, could have been
He
very.
was laying there and he was like, oh,
No, this is
She's
not
like,
what I paid for.
I saw you. She's like, I saw you were awake. No. 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 Okay.
This is not
Fine,
what I
just
paid
do it.
for.
Just do
No. So I'm trying to make this traumatic. So let's
Sure.
just say it was for him. I don't know in that mindset I would save the hair. I wouldn't think of it that way unless maybe what did he do before all that? What was his job?
He was a construction worker.
Yeah.
So he's maybe he's a blue collar guy. Maybe he does think that way. Maybe
Right.
it's like I'm going to save this. But why would he save it? He's not thinking DNA, you think. But like you said, maybe TV shows influence that thought process. All right, I'm beating a dead alien here. All right, here we go. So on to the next thing.
Okay, so let's now that we kind of have the story, let's start digging into Chalker's 1999 IUR
Wait a minute.
methodology.
Well,
right,
before
for
we
the
do
DNA.
that,
Can we talk about the DNA? Okay.
Yeah, but before we do that, so he keeps this bag. Does he say where he kept it and why he kept it for 6 years? And his mindset, nothing explains that. All right, so
no. What's so weird is that he kept it, and then a year later he creates his support group. Hi.
A year later?
Are you banging aliens? Are aliens appearing in your room and trying to have sex with you? And this really disturbed you? Come on, join me. I'm Peter Khoury.
Yeah, but that's it. That is the step. That's what I didn't want to skip. I don't want to just jump to Chalker because that's 6 years later before they even test that DNA. So he starts this support group a year after this experience happens without ever getting a hair sample, without ever getting DNA. There was no talk of that then. He just starts this support group. So this could have been, again, going back to my theory that it was that traumatic that he's like, I think I need help. So why don't I start a support group to see if there's other people out there that experience this?
So let's give the timeline. Can we give the timeline of the hair? Okay.
Yeah.
So 1992.
Yeah.
The hair's recovered, right? And stored in a plastic bag.
Bagged and tagged. Yeah.
Bag and tagged it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gets 1996 and
I wonder if he
97.
put a piece of like tape over it and wrote, date.
Inga's hair.
Alien hair.
He writes Inga's hair.
Inga the alien. Yeah.
All right. So actually, Chalker began investigations in 1996. That's when the early inquiries started, 96 to 97.
4 years later.
4 years later. From 97 to 99 is considered the main testing time. That's when the DNA analysis was conducted.
How did Chalker and he meet? Do we know this?
I don't know how they met. Well, he was a UFO researcher, so I think Khoury reached out to Chalker directly and said, "Hey, dude, I had this encounter. Can you help me?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to. I'm a chemist."
Maybe also Chalker found his group. I don't know. His support group.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. In 1999 was the public disclosure of the IUR article that was published about the hair strand.
Published in 94, you said?
In 99. No, this was 99. The article was published.
Oh, the public test
of
the result.
The public disclosure of the results. Yeah. Okay. And then between 1999 and 2004, they tried to replicate the hair, tried to replicate the DNA on it, and it was all epic failures. So all in that time.
Wait. So they test the hair and
they test the hair. They were trying to say, well, if we tried to replicate this DNA strand, could we produce this? So meaning that if it was artificial, if they could make an artificial hair strand, they were trying to prove that it was a real hair strand.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. But they were unable to successfully produce a fake.
Right. Right. And then in 2005, Chalker had all of his information, and then he was able to release his book. I can't even say this title of the book without laughing. Hair of the Alien.
So he wrote a whole book about the hair of the alien.
Yes.
Wow.
I love the title, actually.
I got pubes in my mouth. It's the name of the book.
You know what you need to do about that? The hair of the alien, bro.
Yeah, there should be a drink.
So when we're looking at a 6-year-old uncontrolled case, meaning that this hair was in a bag for 6 years.
Right. I was just going to talk about chain of custody of that hair. We don't know what happened, right? We don't know where it came from, when he had it, did he actually get it? But is there any dispute in the DNA test that they're saying that it is Chinese lineage and all of that? Is there dispute in that, or is it proven? They
No, it
tested it.
is
It's truth.
right. Right. So here, let's talk about the ambiguity of the DNA source. Right. So it has to be the original donor, which we're going to say was the girl, right? The female Nordic alien.
Mhm.
How it was handled, right? Environmental contamination, mixed contributors. So meaning that his saliva, if it was in his mouth, his penis, if there was genital fluids on it. I mean, there's all
It could
kinds of things
wait,
that
wait,
could
but
mess up the DNA,
but
okay,
that
of the hair
wait,
strand.
yeah, but mess it up to the point where it says it's a very unique lineage of Chinese
Well, here's
DNA.
the yeah, let me just finish this little bit about DNA and nuclear DNA and how it breaks down
All
and
right, don't get too
um
deep because our listeners don't want to. They don't want the
Sounds like
science.
they made a hair baby. That's what it sounds like to me.
cousin it.
Yeah.
A hair baby.
Hair
That
Yeah.
would be my question, Andrew. Is there enough uh, decontamination or whatever that wrecked it to the point where it becomes this very unique lineage, Chinese lineage of someone.
Right.
That's where I don't. That's like getting real lucky. I think if you're
Right.
mixes with his penis and nipple bite and hair and in a baggie and stored for 6 years. Oh, now we test it. And now it's very
Wait a
rare.
second. Did you say nipple bite?
Nipple bite.
That's my move.
You're I do the nipple bite.
Well,
I
this
do
is
the old
about
nipple
you.
bite. It's just
This
right.
is
It's not
all
about me.
about
It's
you.
about Peter Khoury.
No, it
You're
is
right.
about you. This is your
It is
story.
about me, right?
But you see my question, right? I
Right.
want to get to that. I want your answer from that. Is that possible that all the contamination of this created something rare as that, or would a contamination just be like, well, this is inconclusive, or this
Okay,
is just
so
something weird?
just to let you know, the hair could have been a colored hair. The blonde could have been colored blonde.
Oh,
Died.
Died. Okay,
Sure.
so when we're talking about hair DNA, it's hard without the actual root, which I don't know if they had the root or not of the hair. But without a hair root, it's hard to really get the nuclear DNA from the sample. So a widely repeated idea here is that the hair, this is actual fact, the hair showed a mongoloid mitochondrial DNA,
Okay.
but Caucasian physical traits. Okay, so the
But
hair
I don't
being
understand.
blonde,
Yeah, I don't understand any of that. So I'm just wondering, does
just to
are
let
they
you know,
confirming that it is rare?
mixed ancestry is common. So
Right,
this
but
1% or 2% of this Chinese, it's common. It could be from genetics. Genetics are so complex that it could be hundreds of generations back, and that would still show in the DNA. So it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh gosh, this is so weird that it has this. It can have it. It can be kept for years. All that stuff can be traced for years. Here's the thing that's true, though. The DNA was fully human. There were no unknown genetic structures were found. Rare haplotypes, non-human origin was not found in it. There was no indication that a replication or this was a hybrid of any kind. That did not show in the hair sample at all either.
right, well, that was never said anyway. But it's about the
But
rare
just
lineage of this hair strand of the Chinese lineage to it.
so
I'm not getting from you though that there was anything else in the hair strand that would lead to there was
right,
this much Viking or this much, whatever.
right.
There's nothing I haven't heard anything that says anything other than it's this rare Chinese lineage.
Yeah, they
Right.
can't trace back to a specific lineage at all. Like,
No,
okay.
because it's what happens is when you start breaking down the DNA, it starts breaking down into, haplogroups and haplotypes. And those are basically going across a broad ancestral branch of human family tree, right? So you've got the haplogroup H, which is common in Europe. You've got haplogroup B, which is common in East Asia and indigenous Americans. You've got haplogroup L, which is common in Africa.
Okay. But what is it
so
you're saying though about the hair? I just want to know. Is the hair
the hair would be common.
Yeah, but
because of our genetic makeup. I mean, if they took a hair strand from me, they could probably trace me back to ancient China as well, because it's when you start doing that deep dive, you're going to find stuff that's
yeah, but
there.
I don't think you're correct in that. I think I get what you're saying, but I don't think you're correct about this specific hair from Nipple Alien. I think they're specifically saying this was completely a rare strand of hair off of a rare.
No, what they said was it was a blonde hair, which is not common with Asian, and it had Asian descent. All right, so here's
I
the
thought
thing.
it only
Did you
had
ever see?
Asian descent.
No, only a percentage of it was. That's what I mean. It wasn't
What's
pure
the
Asian.
percentage of the others? What's the rest of the stuff?
Well, any other hair could have that too. That's what I'm trying to say. It is common. It is common to break down DNA that way.
But you understand, this strand of hair is what's carrying this story since 1992. This is the story that is being told. I don't believe that the strand of hair is just common. If that were the case, they would say, yeah, whatever. This is just Chinese
when you're
stuff in it, but
breaking
whatever.
down when you're breaking down the DNA and how it breaks down,
Yeah.
then yes, it would be common. Just saying what they said. The other thing too is that you realize that there was no publications of this in a real publication.
What was the publication Chalker put it in? He did get
There is no
1999.
clear public evidence that's fully evident, independent, or peer reviewed.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
lab completed and
Nobody
they
else
published it,
reviewed it.
right?
Okay.
But there was no follow-ups to it. So they did
Well,
this one test and they said, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." And then that lab was never revealed. Only partial part of the name. It said Chalker himself said that testing involved qualified biochemists and DNA facilities in Australia, such as described in his UFO book that he wrote. However, the exact lab identity, chain of custody documentation, full sequencing protocols, meaning the full DNA sequencing, and named principal investigators were not published.
It's a careerism.
It's a careerism. Yeah, we can call it that. You should coin that word. I'm going
do you
to trademark.
think that
Trademark.
because
It's a careerism.
I mean, even in the last 20, 25 years, DNA has advanced a
So
lot.
much.
The lack of language and conversation around these things may have led to the maybe titling it as uncommon, but now the language that we have is this understanding that
Well, here's the
it's
thing. So
common and possible.
Yeah.
so
valid,
things contaminate DNA. Think about how many court cases that we know of that are thrown out because the DNA is contaminated.
Mhm.
All right. So here's going back to what you talked about with Hibbs being tied around his penis, right? It said that he later discovers, right? He goes to the bathroom. He discovers this was another story, a long strand of blonde hair tightly wrapped around his penis. He states that the hair could not be removed easily
Oh, it was
and
tight.
eventually cut it free.
We cut it.
Wait,
Yeah.
that was the other account?
That's the story that when we first introduced the story, we talked about it being a long hair and it being wrapped around his penis.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You just love
apparently
saying penis.
Peter Khoury states that the hair could not be removed easily and eventually cut it free. That's one story. So he's using scissors. Well, what's on those scissors?
The other alien hair that he cut off his penis last time.
That sounds like a deeper encounter than the other one, where that
Right, then
sounds
just-
like there was a mounting and there was
Sex, right? Yeah.
that hair
All right.
was solidified.
Okay,
Let me
and then it's
verify. Let
stored-
me verify. Let me verify this.
Okay.
So the DNA test was run by a credentialed researcher, right?
We just don't know who it was.
But there's
Biochemists.
paperwork that says that it was verified credentialed DNA testing. They also lost the hair, right? The hair's gone.
The hair's gone. Yeah, the hair's gone.
Yeah,
She came back
so
and
the-
got it. I heard.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Did
the forensic laboratory, I was going to say laboratory was
laboratory.
led by Dr. Vivian Thong.
Out of
Vivian
Dr.
Australia.
Thong.
Out of
Dr.
Australia.
Song. Yeah.
So funny.
I
Nipple
guess
alien
so.
hair tested by Thong.
Or penis hair. Hair wrapped
Yeah.
around penis
hair
tested by
top
thong.
test.
Okay. I
So-
still don't, I'm still not following your what are other people saying about that hair? Because I don't know. They're saying it's a rare Chinese lineage. That doesn't. I could have my hair tested, and the primary test wouldn't say it's rare Chinese lineage. That's my question.
Well,
so
okay,
that's what
so
I'm
here-
trying to fully
Okay, so
understand.
here's my question. We don't even know what lab did it. So how do we know any of it's true?
Thong did it.
Dr. Thong.
Dr.
Where's
Thong,
Dr.
what,
Thong
what,
from,
what
does it
lab
say?
does she work in? Yeah,
Okay, hold on.
Let's just say, right? You and I
Okay.
agree.
we agree.
You
The
and-
hair is
you and I
real.
agree that the
It
hair is
has some
real.
rare
What does it
Asian
mean?
lineage.
Yeah. What does
to
that
it.
mean?
Doesn't mean
If
anything.
it's human, it's human hair. It's rare Chinese lineage to it. How does this tie back to aliens?
Well, because they appeared in her room, right?
Yeah, I'm going back to my question of were there any descriptors, other descriptors that made him think they
Other
were
than
totally
one was
non-human?
Nordic and one was Asian.
So that, but
That's it.
okay, that's
he
it.
Had,
That's it.
He had like broad
Uh.
scale. He was like, man, you know what? Just send 2 girls over. Send
Yeah.
over,
Well, that's
send
what I mean.
over a Nordic girl.
Let's just
Uh,
say
tall blonde
he found the ultimate hooker agency, the hooker agency that got him these 2 chicks. Then the one girl that nipple biting alien hair. Let's just say that she has no idea that she has rare Chinese lineage within her
Yeah.
because she's been a hooker her whole life, and
Right.
there was no reason
And
for
on
her
a
to ever get
spaceship.
tested.
Right.
Yeah, but now she, this happens because it's just human DNA. And so what? She has rare. How does that link it how does this story link to aliens just based on the hair that has rare Chinese lineage
Well,
to
because
it,
there's
if
been
they
so
were
much
aliens?
There's been so much talk about how we breed, how we're being hybrid, right? And they
Okay.
came to apparently have sex with this dude, and then they disappeared. So all the things there are shooting up the red flag of alien abduction, alien encounter.
Did Peter ever say what he thought that encounter was about?
Well, he said it was a sexual encounter. He
For
does
what
say that it was a
reason? Why
sexual
him?
encounter. I don't know. He
There's
didn't go
no-
into
but
any
I'm
details.
asking
like,
you if you found anything about.
no,
like,
I
why he
found
says
nothing
that.
that says why him. Right.
It's construction worker in Australia. We're going to show up in your room. We know the wife left. We're going to come in and have sex with you because we want you to. We want to
Breed
have
with
your
us.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm now remembering that he felt paralyzed. He felt like he was being like unable to move, in a controlled environment. That because of them.
Right.
Right.
He could not move because of them. So that feels alien.
That feels alien. Yeah,
Yeah.
that feels alien.
I mean, if you're calling 2 hookers over, you're definitely going to have some drinks. You're probably going to, you might do some other stuff.
It's like
I don't
8
know
in
what
the
he was
morning.
into. Yeah. Well, was it 8 in the morning? Yeah, I guess.
His wife left for work.
Maybe
So
that's his thing.
yeah, let's can we talk about his 1988?
Oh, so we're going to go
Deal?
backwards.
Let's
We're
go
gonna go back.
backwards. Let's
I
go
like
to
it.
88,
I like
right?
it.
So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
he
Why
said
does this
that.
have anything to do with the outcome of our decision based on what the hair? experience?
No, but it does bring up because you're like, how is this alien? How is it, how is it
Yeah.
alien? So
Right.
we talk about sleep paralysis, right? We're
Yeah.
saying that he was paralyzed, right? Because he said clearly in 88 that he was paralyzed and he woke up and he was paralyzed and there was dark hooded creatures or people, entities, we'll call them, in his room. We have talked in past episodes about the whole hypnopompic hallucinations that happen.
Yeah. Right.
People feeling like, the devil's on their chest, or they have
Right.
these
Can't move.
things. The other things that people have seen are, I think they're called night stalkers or night walkers, where they actually see hooded characters in their room.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to write off his 1988 thing as not alien at all. That I think he suffers from sleep paralysis and he suffers from
stress.
hypnopompic hallucinations. Yeah.
Okay. All right, but do you think that because he had that experience in '88, that it adds more weight to the story he tells
Sure it
about the hair
does.
later, and that's
Sure
why
it
this carries?
does.
Like, if he didn't
Yeah.
have that experience, is this even a story we're talking about?
If he didn't have a piece of hair, right, that supposedly came from this Nordic woman, right?
No.
And by 92, we had already seen the Nordic race. We'd already talked about them. Villalobos had his alien encounter, right? That said she looked
Mhm.
Asian
Mhm.
in Brazil.
Are you saying that he's being influenced by these other stories if he's making it up?
Possibly?
Do you think he made this up, or
In
do you
all
think he
honesty,
believes it? Or he
he
believes it?
I believe he saw something. I think this guy suffers from that rare thing that happens with people with sleep paralysis and the whole hypno thing, hallucinations. I think he suffers from that.
Do we know what color hair his wife had?
No, that's a great
What if,
question.
even if she was brunette, what if she was starting, like she had like a gray hair and he thought it was blonde and it was around the penis and he's like, whoa, and he had this sleep paralysis moment and he's like, oh, that's a hair. It's not brunette like my wife's.
Right, and his wife
And
could be Asian.
yeah, maybe,
He was from
maybe.
Lebanon, right?
Hmm.
So, well, I don't know what his wife, if his wife, what her ancestry was.
Well,
We
I
don't
would
know.
think that in that experience, I'm going to have this hair that I found on my penis tested. We should also test my wife's hair, and we should test
Right.
my hair.
Well, right. And the thing is that remember, it says it was Mongoloid, so it's Mongolian descent. That's where we get the 2% or 3%
Mhm.
Asian or Chinese, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about the Mongols and where they conquered, I mean, they would have been breeding with a bunch of people.
Mhm.
Maybe it was his wife's hair.
Lemon, could you look up real quick if there were any other alien encounters or sightings at the same time in the
In
same area?
92 in Australia.
92 in Australia. See what you
Sexual
can find.
alien encounters.
And then, Andrew, if you don't have anything else, let's weigh in.
No, I've got a bunch of stuff on DNA, but we don't need to talk about it.
No, no, no. I don't want to. I don't want the science in DNA, man. I get it, DNA, but I mean, unless this was a investigative show, then I would say, yeah, let's
Let's
start
dig
digging
into the
into the
DNA.
science of this. I just wanted the report on this. It's to me, it's an interesting story, and I'm wondering too if it didn't that he didn't share that story about 88. If this if this adds more weight to it, if you eliminate that, because this story is, I don't know. Well, we'll get into it. I just want to
Right.
see what Lemon finds.
It's not particularly well documented. That's all that I can find. There's nothing
In 92,
substantial.
around the same time, nothing really was
Yeah.
happening because they were putting all their focus on Peter.
I think something that's interesting, like
Peter.
why
Peter?
maybe Peter's having his own experience, but what's interesting to me is that why are all these people rallying around him and believing him? Because he could be as convincing, but there's also, this reporter who seems to believe him and is putting the story out there. Then there's this lab that's like, yeah, we're going to test the hair. And they're
Well,
using resources and money to do this.
you have Chalker, who knows, who's a chemist, who's known in the area, and he's also known as a UFO researcher. He has friends that work in labs. That's why there's no
It's just friends,
lab
okay.
that's listed.
Right.
If it
okay.
was actually really tested,
Uh-huh.
we'd have the test report. We'd have the doctors that did it. We wouldn't just have names.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
For all we
This is
know,
why
Vivian Thong could disappear in one of those caves.
Yeah, this is why I have a problem with creative ufologists who latch on to people's stories. They look at it; they're not looking at the true event. They look at the true event that happened, that they hear from the stories from these experiencers, and then they think, "How can I exploit this and turn this into a really interesting book?" Well, if I get this thing tested, DNA tested, and then I can say that it comes from this rare lineage, even though it may just be from Trenton, New Jersey. It could be this whole, they just build this racket up of creating stories to sell books. That's the only way ufologists are making money. No one's
Right.
paying them to go look at sites or to talk to experiencers. The only way they're making money is by publishing. And
Right.
that's where you run into this challenge of validity of an encounter, a true encounter, and that's the problem. So that's where I struggle with. All right, I think it's time to weigh in on whether we think this is a mostly true alien story or not. Lemon, I'm going to go to you first. Do you think that Peter Khoury's experience with the two alien women is a mostly true alien story or not?
Definitely not. I just feel like I think I'm between the sleep paralysis and him trying to explain away this encounter that he had or that he may have hired or
Is there anything in the story itself you're just saying if there was just a little bit more here then I would believe it, or is it just like doesn't even connect?
I love the conversation about sleep paralysis. I could go down an entire rabbit hole about that, especially with like, in the paranormal world and the conversations there. Something that I think is really fascinating is the consistency in sleep paralysis, the fact that there are consistent characters and images that we see. And so I agree with Andrew in the sense that I think he experienced something, but the hair, I am not buying at all. There's nothing about the hair that to me is convincing. So,
Okay.
No.
All right. Lemon says it is not a mostly true alien story. Andrew, I'm going to hand it over to you. Do you think this is a mostly true alien story or not?
First of all, I want to say this is it's a beautiful story. It's the best story I've ever heard.
Okay.
It should have started Dear Penthouse Forum. That's how it should have started. That's what I'm going to go with that. I would never have believed it had it not happened to me. I mean, that's what I want to hear in this story. I think that we need to, if I was to dig anywhere, would be who his wife was, what's her lineage, what color hair did she have? This guy definitely suffers from sleep paralysis and the hypno dreaming hallucinations that he has. And he's probably still having them today and doesn't realize it. And I don't know what they do for it. I don't know the treatment. I think that, no, it's not a mostly true alien story.
All right. You both say it is not a mostly true alien story. And now it's my turn to weigh in. I have to say, though, I looked at some of Peter Khoury's videos. I mean, the guy is still consistently saying that this happened. It's 30 years and it's the same
That's
account.
interesting.
The odd thing for me was after it happened, he forms a support group. I think, like if a murderer creates a support group, you look at him and go, okay, this guy is, incredibly, he needs help as something has happened.
Friends
right?
of
There's
Charles
something going on
Manson.
here. I think this is the same, sort of the same thing, not a murderer, but the DNA result, I mean, I still think it's real. They have paperwork on it. They tested the hair. That's real. It's from a rare Chinese lineage. That's never been recorded in a blonde person. I'm just stating some of the details that they're giving us here.
I did used to babysit a little baby who was Korean, and she was blonde. Her father was blonde with blue eyes, and her mother was Korean,
rare?
and she came out, she had blonde
Yeah,
hair.
it would be rare.
Yeah, I've never seen
I
it
don't know
that
enough about
natural.
science and DNA to say that. So I don't know this. I'm basing what we know, what we discussed here. But there's also, to me, there's not enough evidence here to say that this is a mostly true story. So this is not a mostly true alien story. So Peter Khoury, he kept a hair that most people would have thrown away. 6 years later, a lab told him the hair came from a lineage that doesn't exist in nature, at least not in any combination science has ever documented. He's still in Sydney. He's still running the support groups for people who've had experiences they can't explain. And he's still telling the same story. So good for him. Maybe we can get him on this show one time. If he doesn't hate this episode, he may hate this episode.
He might want to come on to prove us wrong. That's fine.
That'd be fun. And maybe, and he seems very personable. So anyway, if you, our listeners, have thoughts about this or stories you want us to investigate next, drop them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, share the show too. That helps us, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mostly True Alien Stories. Check out all of our other episodes. Until then, be kind to the aliens when they get here.
Let me just say something. In all my encounters with alien chicks, I've never had a hair wrapped around my penis. Ever.
I'm still trying to figure out how he bit her nipple. That's all.
Why he bit her nipple?
Yeah, why?
I mean, they sound hot to me. I mean, they sound way hotter than the other alien girls we've talked about.
We always try to make the aliens sound hot on this show.
And these ones
For our
sound the
listeners.
hottest.
Yeah,
They sound like they were just like,
Mhm.
sitting on the
they're
end of the
like-
bed, like.
We'll see you guys on the next episode.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about our actors of unknown objects.